make a sort of cheats pasta bake today. Something savoury, something that's really filling, and something that you can put all kinds of different vegetables into. So I'm ready to cook. My hair's up, my apron's on, my hands are washed, sleeves up. So let's go. Okay, so for my pasta bake, I'm going to use some dried pasta. I've got fusilli, which is the twist pasta. I'm going to use 200 grams, and that should serve about 4 people. So if it's 50 grams per person, I've got 200 grams of pasta. I'm going to use up basically whatever veg is in the fridge. Today, I'm going to be using up courgette and carrot. But you could put peppers in there, you could put tomatoes in there, you could put broccoli in there, any kind of vegetable that can go in the oven really. I wouldn't put cucumber in, but any other type of vegetable that can go in the oven that could go into a pasta sauce can use. I'm going to use a tin of chopped tomatoes, just from the tin out of the cupboard, and I have bought some mozzarella, and that is because the mozzarella cheese goes really stringy when it melts, and that's kind of what makes it really tasty and just gooey. Okay, so I'm going to get to work prepping the veg, and whilst that's happening I'm going to put my pasta on to boil. Okay, so I'm just going to salt my pasta, and get that water boiling. Now, we did boil and simmer a couple of weeks ago. So what I'm looking for is the bubbles on top, bubbling, and this steam, but more of it. And I've got my pasta weighed out, so once that comes to temperature and I get some more bubbles, I'll put the pasta in. Whilst the pasta's cooking, I'm going to prep my veggies, okay? Okay, so that's now bubbling and actually boiling. You can see all the bubbles, so it's ready for the pasta to go in. Again, carefully make sure you don't get any splashes. Maybe ask someone to help at that stage. And then I give my pasta one good stir to make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom. And then I'm going to leave it and let it get back up to temperature, get it boiling, and then I will turn it down to a simmer. Okay, so if we remember, the boiling is bubble, 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 and the simmer is just movement across the top. Okay, so whilst that's going, I'm going to do my veg. Okay, so the pasta is simmering now. Pasta only takes 10 minutes to cook. Because this is going into a pasta bake and it will finish in the oven, it doesn't need the full 10 minutes because it will cook in the oven. So I probably only want to boil it for about 7 to 8 minutes, right? So whilst that's happening, I'm going to do the veg, okay? Now with the veg, we need to top and tail each one. So I'm going to take the top off and the bottom, okay? Remember to make sure you're using bridge and claw. If you need help, please make sure you've got that, make sure you've got permission. I'm going to grate one carrot, and then I'm going to use a peeler to ribbon my other carrot and courgette, and I'll show you how to do that, okay? Okay, to grate the carrot, I've got one of these handheld graters. You might have a box grater, a bit more like at school, but a grater only cuts in one direction. So I can do this quite safely because it doesn't cut that way. It does cut that way, so I'm not going to put my fingers on that going that way. What I can do is I can start grating, and just so long as I've got everything held quite firmly, I can just start grating. And I push down and pull away, push down and pull away, push down and pull away. I don't need to push continuously because it only cuts on the downstroke, okay? So push down, lift away, make sure you got your grip, push down, lift away, make sure you've got your grip, push down, lift away. And you're going to keep going till all that's done, okay? And then I'm going to show you how to ribbon. Okay, to do the ribbons, I'm just using a peeler. Again, obviously this is the bit that's sharp, everything else is fine. I'm going to hold it on the board and I'm just going to peel down. Now that first one I might get rid of because I don't want one that's just skin. But then I'm going to peel, and then that is a bit of skin and a bit of flesh of the courgette. And I keep going, and then it becomes a bit like colourful. So it's got these two tones of green, and I end up with lots of ribbons, okay? And that makes it look really like oriental in its cooking, okay? They do a lot of ribboning. Right, now when it gets to there, I might turn it over and again start there, get rid of that first slice, no one wants that, and then keep going, okay? And this is quite a safe way to do it because it's on the board, okay? You're always watching where you're going and it's not wobbling around too much, okay? And again, I'm just going to keep going till I've got lots and lots of ribbons, okay? Might need to check on our pasta soon. Alright, right, I'll finish this. Hopefully you'll have a go at trying to ribbon some of your vegetables. Okay, so you can see that my pasta is pretty much done. So that's ready to drain. I've got my carrot and a few veggies there that I'm halfway through doing. Once the pasta is drained and I've finished all my veggies, it's basically a case of putting it all in the oven-proof dish, adding in that cheese, and making the pasta bake. So I'm going to drain this now with a colander, okay? So make sure you're super careful over the sink, and then I'll show you how I assemble it all together. Okay, so I'm just going to get the last few ribbons off this carrot. Ooh. There we go, that should do. Now, because these are ribbons and super thin, okay, they will cook down really nicely, right? They'll go really nice and soft, and sort of soak up all the flavour from the tomato juice and all the flavour from the cheese. I do cut them just sort of once now, just so that instead of it being a really long ribbon, each one is just about that length, okay? So when that cooks and goes soft, it should all sort of go together well. Right, I've got grated carrot in here already, and then I'm going to start sort of putting half the other veg, so half the courgette and half the carrot in. Then I'm going to put the pasta in, bit of cheese, and just mix it all together, okay? It's not fancy, it's not layered like a lasagna, but I just assemble it this way so that I try and get a good mix of everything, okay? Okay, so like I said, about half's in there already. I'm going to put about half my pasta in. Ooh. I'm going to put a handful of cheese in. Bit more. And then I need to open my tin of chopped tomatoes. Now this is a tin opener. I know that I was working with a few of my classes about using tin openers. If you've got a ring pull, well done you. If not, make sure that the tin opener snaps and then you can spin, okay? Now, if you're not sure how to use the tin opener, please ask, because the tin opener's not that dangerous, but the tins are. This is really sharp, okay? So, see? So spin all the way round. And then once it's there, you can use the handle to lift it up. Okay, ooh. And then really careful, right? Ooh. So that goes in. Now, that gets a bit of a mix. Okay, ooh. Everything else goes in. And everything just needs a real good mix around, okay? So when you've got like clumps there, just try and spread them out a little bit. It's never going to be a perfect science, nor is this recipe a perfect science, because it is Mrs. Otway's leftover pasta bake. but it is a really good way to have a hearty meal that's full of veg, and you can hide whatever veg you want in there, in the tomato sauce, and then with a bit more cheese. Okay. Ooh. Now, if you were making it for a bigger family, you could add another tin of chopped tomatoes, more pasta, more veg. Okay, you can always scale it up. Now make sure you've got a good helping of cheese for the topping, because like I said, this is mozzarella, so it goes really stringy when it's baked, and it does make it feel really luxurious meal. Make sure you get the corners. Okay, let's hope it works. Okay, so that's gone in the oven. It's gone in at 200 degrees and it will be in there for about half an hour, 30 minutes. What we're waiting for is for the thin strips of vegetables to soften and for the cheese to all melt and have a nice sort of golden brown crispy top to it. As I said, you can make this bigger portions, smaller portions. You can add more liquid, you could add a pre-mixed jar of sauce rather than a tin of chopped tomatoes. You could add 2 tins of chopped tomatoes. You could add different veggies. You could put garlic in there, spice in there. Any way to sort of use up whatever's left in your fridge. And like I say, it just makes a really good meal that can be, you know, you can fridge what you don't use, you can freeze what you don't use and pull it out at a later date. So have a go, think about what you've got in the fridge, think about what would go with a pasta, have a go at those techniques, maybe grating, maybe ribboning, if you're moving on from slicing, and hopefully you'll make a delicious leftover pasta bake. Alright, have fun, bye!